Hey everyone, you are listening to Narayan Jha. In this podcast, I am going to talk about my book Reinvent Yourself, which is all about learning the fundamentals of living a happy life with nothing. Basically, in this book, I have talked about the finance, goals, achievements, motivation, failures, and a lot of cool things. If you haven't gone through my book Reinvent Yourself, the episode for this podcast is specially for you. So without wasting time, let's get started with the episode. In today's episode, I'll be talking about chapter 16. It's all about engineering mindset. From our childhood, we are born with a fixed dreams which might be determined by our parents, or sometimes we are inspired by people or work and we define our own dreams. You might have seen that we all had a few common dreams from our childhood, like becoming a doctor, engineer, scientist, astronaut, and the list is unending. Some of us get such exposure to life which helps us to reach that dreams, and some are not lucky or never put sufficient effort to achieve their dreams, and we end up blaming things. If you talk about my dream, I always wanted to become an engineer. Just because I wanted to support my family and achieve the things which I want to get. After a few years or with the years of experience being an engineer, I found that engineer is one of the super coolest domains. An engineer is enough capable to perform any kind of task. That's why you might also seen that in many places engineer is always there, like banking, medical, army, businesses, finance, and many other sectors. It's all about the mindset we are being trained in. And engineer always faces pressure and challenge to achieve something. The life of engineer is not always easy. Engineering is not about doing a professional degree or talking about fancy words in meetings. Such kind of things a customer care support agent can also do. A successful engineer is all about the mindset that makes him a successful engineer. An engineer is able to think in such flexible ways, he is also able to successfully survive in other sectors as well. Those are not real engineers who just work for having a package or just for the money. A maximum of people are running towards the rat race of earning more with whatever the engineering skills they are having. People are having professional degrees just because engineering is a trend, and they can survive with a good amount of money. We never can call a person an engineer if he doesn't know the art of adding value to human life. He is just a laborer working for a company just to earn. Sometimes we never know whether we really want to add a value in our job also or not. For example, if you are a computer engineer and you got a job in a big MNC with a good package. Being an engineer, you are just filling the Excel sheets and creating a documents is not about the engineering. A real engineer always think about creating such as tools and automating them. Basically, he talks about solving a particular problem. Just because a real engineering mindset is really hard to find, this impacts the country's growth, recession comes, and too many layoffs happens. The reality is we don't want to add a value with a real engineering mindset. Because we are busy blaming others or the government for their things, but that's not the real way to think. And engineering mindset is all about the attitude and the approach which is required to deal with a certain problem. They have an art of proposing solution for any kind of problem. They never create excuses and try to find out alternatives with the proper calculations. You can't learn this skill with the professional degrees. This can be learned by putting efforts into solving real life problems, facing failures, and solve them till it's not properly resolved. A real engineer, before solving a particular problem, talks about some of the common aspects. For example, he talks about things required to perform a task, which is helpful to solve a particular problem. He talks about cost required and its optimization. He also thinks and talk about experience required for that certain task. He plan about the bandwidth and teamwork. He thinks about risk and exit plans which are available to solve that particular task. He also thinks some of the other ways like researches, outcomes of performing efforts, and many other aspects. It doesn't matter what you are and what you want to become in your life. If you know how to think like an engineer, you don't need any professional degree from others to be that performer. You can easily become that thing with yourself because everything resides in ourselves only. It's always have a great practice for everyone. Think like an engineer and solve real life problems. I'm hoping you really enjoyed this episode. If so, please don't forget to review on your social media. I'll meet you in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.